So this is going to be a Wednesday episode.
So what do we want to talk about?
Are you recording right now?
We are, but
I'll cut it.
Okay.
I'll start my chronograph when we can talk about watches. Except I'm the only person in the room with a watch on, so it's
Yeah.
And like, although me and Jordan can fantasize about certain watches, I think you're probably also the only person that would be able to geek out enough about them.
I would geek out, and also
I don't know. I have
we
a
need a
watch
visual
box
element.
full of watches at home.
that
So I'm the pleb here.
you definitely are. But that kind of needs a visual element, in my opinion.
I agree.
It's hard to have just a watch podcast that's purely audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, because probably 95% of the audience would be like, I have no idea what the fuck that is.
They would have to pause it and Google it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I mean,
probably.
who the fuck wants to do that in a podcast unless you say something that is like,
That's one of the
Really
reasons why
intriguing.
Smoking Tire has a visual component, and they basically cast a computer screen into the visual portion of the podcast. Like they just cast it and it's just a screen share.
yeah.
It's a live action video.
Right.
Yeah, literally, I even think half the people listening wouldn't know what a chronograph is. As sad as that is.
I know.
They'll have used one probably, but they don't know what it's called.
What's really frustrating is being in watch groups and people talk about watch complications that are useless. So for those that don't know, a complication of a watch is an attribute of the watch beyond purely telling time.
Yeah.
So you have your hours, minutes, and seconds, and then anything beyond that is a complication. So I don't actually know if a rotating bezel is a complication. I don't think it is, but a chronograph, a tourbillon, a date or a day, and then when you have your day date, those are two complications.
I would consider rotating bezel a complication.
Okay.
Because, again, that's just one other moving part that's not.
Yeah, and then because there are some bezels that don't rotate. I actually have my Timex.
Most don't.
Well, yeah, but my Timex is okay. So my Timex, it's known as a Ranger, is interesting because I think it's really more of a field watch, but it has a bezel that looks like it could be cheaply styled after a dive watch bezel, but it doesn't rotate. And but it also has like the Indiglow on it. So
Yeah.
when you push the crown in, the whole thing lights up. So when I do my events that I clean up at night, that's actually more the watch to have because I don't have to push the Indiglow stays on as long as my finger is on the crown. The thing about my G-Shock, the thing about my the Bulova, which I would never wear to clean up an event,
I would hope not.
yeah, that 1970s driving watch. No,
Yeah, please don't do that.
no,
That'd be great.
And then
Murder on my mind if you do that.
my Casio, it's called the Casio Royale is kind of what it's known as because
Yeah.
there was one in the Casino Royale, but it's black.
Mm-hmm.
Those have like a 3-second timer, like on the light or on the illumination. So you're kind of limited in that. Whereas like if you just have like an analog watch and it's going as long as you have it on, and I don't have to worry about loom. I don't have to worry about like is my loom charged?
Right.
Which is I kind of want to buy a UV light because there's handheld UV lights for watches that you just use to charge the loom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's super bright. It's super great. But
I have a
anyways.
watch that I think I've told you about this actually, that I think that you would really like. It's a Swiss Victorinox watch.
Oh yeah, it's by Swiss Army basically.
Yeah, and it's
Victorinox.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they make like really robust watches.
Yeah.
Like they're like the hardest nails.
This-
Like guys in the army wear them.
this
yeah.
one though is a little bit more of like on the elegant side because it's got a brown leather band.
I just took it.
Gavin
I just
breathing
drank that-
whiskey again.
Well, I drank that like I drank my mixed drink,
uh,
and I'm drinking this on the rocks. So,
Little stronger.
yeah.
are you looking at Victorinox?
No.
What are you looking at?
I'm actually looking up something that's very stereotypical crazy me.
Anyways, so it has this
We can-
brown leather band, and then
Yeah.
on top of that, the body of the watch itself is actually rose gold, and then the face of it underneath the glass is white.
Oh, so it's a rose gold case with a white dial.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and then
Okay.
a brown leather band.
Oh, okay. Does it have is it a chronograph? Is it
Yep.
complicated? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
And it's got all sorts of other shit that I'll never use.
I'm kind of on the fence. I know what watch I want to get next. I'm on the fence on if I would ever want to own an automatic chronograph. Because the chronograph function on a watch or the complication is super abrasive to the movement. It's really hard on it because...
And this watch does kilometers and miles per hour.
Does it have a tachometer?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
Interesting. Well, if we're talking about watches, I'll do a watch check. I am currently wearing my Aviate watch. It is a quartz movement. I think it actually is a Ronda movement, which is Swiss quartz. It has a chronograph function of it's seconds, minutes, and I want to say it's eighth seconds. It might be 8 seconds. And this actually has a tachometer on it as well, actually. I'll put this down. And I'll show Jordan so he can look closely at it. I would show Justin, but he actually got to wear it for a few weeks.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I'm currently wearing arm hair, if anybody's interested.
I'm currently a freckle past a hair.
So the significance behind this watch for me, Aviate actually reached out to me on Instagram and slid in my DMs and said, like, hey, would you be willing to accept a watch and take a photo of it for Instagram, make a post and take a story with the watch, and we'll send it to you.
Damn, I actually really like
Want to try it on?
watch.
It's really nice.
Yeah, try it on. It has a nice supple leather band. It is of that type of leather, that genre of leather that they call genuine leather, which is always kind of the worst quality of leather when it comes to a band, but this is actually really not bad. I quite like this. It's very soft and flexible. And
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't
soft, but then the band itself too is actually like
A little pliable.
it
kind of stretches a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I think it'll last longer. Because then a lot of these times that you see other things like
it doesn't show
genuine,
wear that much. You can kind of crank on it, and it doesn't really show that
Well,
much.
there's other things too that are like genuine leather that are like not that. I mean, yeah, it's leather, but it's not that great.
So
or
I own a
whatever.
Parnas as well, unfortunately.
But this is very like Justin was saying, it's very pliable. So that's gonna make it last longer, and then the top half of it is a lot thicker too, which is going to allow it to last a lot longer as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, during the 2 weeks I had
And
that
the
thing, I loved it.
stitching. Yeah, and the stitching goes completely through the band. So,
Yeah,
I mean, if it
stitching's
starts
nice.
to delaminate, it's, I mean,
I would say Aviate. Well, okay, so that is the Nighthawk, I believe, or yeah, I think it's the Nighthawk. I basically in an email thread, they gave me some SKUs to look up or some serial numbers, and
well, it's
Look-
10th.
I looked them. Oh, it's 10th second
Yeah.
for the chronograph.
Yeah.
Here, let's just run it. Run the chronograph, and
going so
I like the
fast.
watch. I like the aesthetic that it has, where it is kind of based on flight watch, like almost a Flieger, like a 1930 late 30s, early 40s German.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Just not as expensive.
Well, I mean, so it has some of that. I don't necessarily like. I think there are some build quality things that they missed on this, like the date window. Like the date doesn't always align sometimes. The movement itself, like when you're running the chronograph, it actually isn't smooth. It stops, like even on the 10th of a second, there is some stopping on each index.
Yeah.
Within that subdial. And I think I might have been spoiled by the Tissot that I bought, because I have a Chrono XL Tissot, which is a 45 millimeter, so it's not a small watch. That's a chronograph and has like a really dark gray dial, white indexes, really elegant white hands actually, and red subdials. So the chronograph functions are all red. So the main hands, so like the seconds and the hours and minutes, those are white hands. But the minutes for the chronograph, the 10th seconds, and the seconds on the chronograph are red. So you have this big red second hand, which is for the chronograph, which is different than this, because this actually has a subdial for the seconds, whereas the Tissot doesn't.
Right.
But I like the watch. I don't wear it that much. That's part of owning 10 watches. that
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
currently
when you
on.
have a lot of watches,
Yeah, and that's not even really
you got to
that much
kind of
compared to a lot
rotate
of
through
other
them.
people.
I mean,
I
when
have
you
my
have a-
daily grind rotation. I have a Casio Duro, which is a dive watch that does go to 200 meters,
right?
with the screw down crown and a
Because you
nice
dive all the time.
bezel. Oh yeah, like what? Do you not?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Huh? Weird.
But I know how avid you are about it.
No, the thing about water resistance ratings is a lot of that has to do with just the general build quality of the watch.
Right.
People do get really anal about like, oh, this only goes to 100 meters water resistance and whoa.
It's like,
Yeah.
you're really ever going to take it there?
Exactly, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of conversation on watch forums about like, well, shut the fuck up. Like you're not a diver. You're desk diving.
Yeah. And you're also like scared when it gets a drop of water on it because you
some
paid 50
people-
grand for it. Like,
Some people legitimately ask about taking their dive watches in the shower. They just dropped like a couple grand on a dive watch. By the way, the Casio Duro dive watch was $45, and it goes to 200 meters underwater. And people legitimately on these watch threads, on watch forums, ask like, "Hey, so I just took my dive watch in the hot tub. Like, is that okay?"
I'm going to answer that for them. And the answer is yes.
The only circumstance in which
Yes, you
that's
can.
not okay is if the watch is older and if the gaskets have cracked.
Yeah,
and the
or let's
gaskets are
say
going.
like you replaced the battery yourself, and because a lot of the times if you replace the battery,
or people just open the case back in general. And,
right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you open the case back, or you like in that case, you would most likely the reason you're doing that is to replace the battery, and you don't replace that gasket because when you take it
You
in
have
to have it done,
replace the gasket. yeah.
exactly when you take it in to have it done, that's what they're doing, and that's why they're charging you for it because the battery isn't costing them anything.
Honestly, I don't think I would ever work on a watch myself. I'll switch out bands. I have a I'm spacing on what it's called. It's the spring bar. I have a spring bar tool. I'll switch out my bands. I don't care about that.
That's easy enough. There's really no ramifications.
I mean, yeah, you like if you're popping out a stainless steel bracelet,
Yeah,
you
yes.
can fuck up an end link on that.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you kind
I
of have
did
to
on
have
the- on
some
the
certain
Tissot.
tools for that because
When I swapped out, the Tissot actually, and this Aviate as well, they have powder blasted cases, and the Tissot came with the same powder blast on the bracelet, which
Very easy to scratch.
very easy to scratch. It shows wear a lot, and when I saw the watch online, I actually didn't think it was powder blasted. I saw 316L stainless steel, and it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be polished, and no. So I replaced that with a rally style, is what they call it. It's a black leather strap with it's got the perforations in the band, the
right.
holes, and with some red contrast stitching, and it looks fantastic now. But when I was popping off that old bracelet, there's some scratch. I still have it. There's some scratches on it though.
yeah, when
I
you
think- especially
Go
if you're not experienced, you'll definitely fuck up a bracelet.
Yeah, but I mean, I think this kind of leads to, the issue of like somebody complaining about why would I take it to somebody else? Well, the reason why is because you're going to save your ass on not fucking anything up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Imagine. I mean, so the Seiko SKX is kind of the standard. It has been the standard for a lot of people as far as a dive watch, or desk dive watch,
right
for that matter.
Just hey,
it's
I
like
have
a $250
some
automatic movement. I think that goes to. Does it go to 200? It's either 100 or 200. But there's also these other things that come along with it, whereas like the chapter ring doesn't match up with the bezel. Like the chapter
Exactly.
ring is, where you see the tachometer right there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you like totally get what you pay for.
It's the middle management's Corvette.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's like
honestly, yeah.
he's like the office manager at Walmart.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like he
Well,
saved
maybe
up
a little
and got,
bit, maybe a little higher than Walmart.
But
I'm sorry, but
he got just
That's
enough
fine.
to where
Yeah.
he can drop 3 digits on a watch.
yeah.
or he works at the jewelry store where it's sold, and he got the employee discount.
Yeah, and or you could be dumb like me and just whenever you come into any amount of money that is more than what you need to live by.
Yeah, that's also true. There's been times where like, I shouldn't spend this money, but $500 on this watch, yeah, that's fine. Let's do it.
I'm super glad I threw down. So my Bulova driving watch, that was a $300 watch.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, so Bulova, within the past 6 months, have released that they are reviving the Computron.
Are they really?
Oh yeah, they have. So they.
Oh wait, I think I saw you post about that.
I
Yeah,
did.
you
I,
did.
in my Wheels and
Yeah.
Watches group. Shout out to
Yeah,
Wheels and
yeah.
Watches on Facebook. If you don't know about it,
Go
join
follow it.
us. Join us.
Yeah, because I saw that and I was like, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
this is
So for those that don't
super
know,
cool, actually.
fuck it, this is the podcast now. Welcome back to your Wednesday episode of the Exhibition of Speed podcast. It is I, your host, Gavin.
Me, your idiot, Justin.
And I'm Jordan.
Cool. So we're talking watches today, at least for some of the podcast, until we can't talk about watches anymore. And so back in the 70s, Bulova, which is a company that actually they're not just a fashion watch company. They actually have pioneered their watches in very interesting ways. They had the Accutron back in the day, back in like the 60s, where they had a tuning fork in the watch.
Yeah,
which
I've
is
heard
super
about
cool.
those.
Their skeleton tuning watch, tuning fork watches are super dope. I
Yeah.
really want one.
Yeah, I've never seen one in person, but
I
think
haven't
they're pretty
either.
rad.
If I do, I'm gonna be like, how much do I have in my savings?
Well, too, it's like, who the hell thinks to put a tuning fork in a watch?
Somebody
Exactly.
who's just a little bit crazy.
Just a little
Yeah.
bit. So yeah, and they actually had the first. Omega really likes to pride themselves on their Speedmaster being the first watch in space and like the moon watch and all that, where that actually isn't completely true.
Yeah,
Bulova
because the first
had-
moon landing was faked, right? No.
Oh boy, now we're going exhibition of speed goes conspiracy theory.
exhibition of conspiracy. Yikes.
I'm kidding.
Anyways,
I digress.
Bulova actually made a moon watch that was or made a watch that was worn by I couldn't tell you that by an astronaut. Is that when their Speedmaster failed, someone else had a watch that Bulova made, and that was the first watch in space. So there's that. And then back in 1976, Bulova, the fucking absolute mad lads, decided to make a driving watch. They called it the driving watch, and the actual name of the watch itself was called the Computron. And it was made of all gold. The case and the bracelet were made of gold with a red LCD or an LED or LCD.
LCD.
It would be a C.
Yes.
A red LCD display.
Back then, LED was not even a thing.
No. A red LCD display that would tell you the time. There was one button on the watch.
Yep.
You'd hit it once and it'd tell you the time. You could hit it again and it'd tell you the seconds. And I think if you hit it the third time, it'd tell you like the date or something.
Super simple.
Super simple. And so that was a convex button. There's actually a concave button, a very slightly concave.
On
That
the
was
new one or the old
No,
one?
on the old one, on the opposite side, and if you had to change the time. And so the only thing, so when daylight savings happened, I had to change the time on the watch, and I didn't know how to do
Sounds
it.
like a nightmare, honestly.
So what did I do? I grabbed my the cork opener, and so I just like hit it and like held it, and I was able to change the time. But I had to go like find forums and threads and like blueprints of like this watch. Like I actually had to do some diving because the owner that I bought this watch from had no idea how to change the time. So I actually had to go figure that out the hard way.
So you were just lucky it was on time to begin with.
It was a few minutes off, and it doesn't keep time, which is weird for a digital watch to not keep time.
Kind of.
But
I guess this is early digital watch days.
very
though.
early digital. Yeah. So
the seconds were different back then, don't you know?
I know. Everything moved slower in the 70s.
actually,
Yeah.
this watch speeds up.
Oh.
Funny enough, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't keep time
Well,
very well.
I mean, it is a driving watch.
yeah,
And
you're
it was
supposed
the
to fucking
70s.
get there, right?
And it
You're-
was the 70s.
I,
yeah.
It's just going to make them think they're late everywhere.
I mean, like Coke was just barely coming
That's what I'm
out.
getting
Oh,
at.
yeah.
Exactly. Coke and the disco.
It was, it was perfect. It was ahead of the times for the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. So what's funny is when people see it, they think it's an 80s watch. I'm like, no, 1976. But anyways.
Yeah, Motley Crue was not wearing this.
No.
They were ahead of their time. So fast forward to 2018, which is when the plans for this came out, and they're actually, I think their other versions are finally starting to come out now as of this recording, but the very first one was in a stainless steel case, like 316L, with stainless steel bracelet and a blue LED display.
Risky.
Yes, and so they They have their OG gold on red, and then they have their stainless on blue, and then they have a black PVD case with a rubber strap with a red LED display.
I
That-
don't like that idea.
It's interesting.
A little different.
I
Yep.
kind of want all three. I definitely have a slot in the box though for the new one because I want the old one with the new one with the new gold on red.
Did that article say how much they're going to be? Or
They're
like
around
a rough-
300. They're actually around the same price I paid for the old one.
Oh, so you wouldn't even have to break the bank that much, really.
Not really, no. What's funny is
I was anticipating more.
there's
Yeah,
a retailer at City Creek for Bulova. There's an authorized dealer there.
Uh-huh.
And I went in there and I was talking to one of the guys. I have his business card. And I was like, hey, so I have an original driving watch. And I even showed photos on my Instagram, like proving that. And he was like, how much did you pay for that? I was like, $300. He's like, dude, that guy did not know what he had. He did not know what he had. Like, you're lucky to get that. I'm like, well, I mean, holler at me. Here's my number. I filled out not an application necessarily, but just like a sheet of just like a contact sheet. And I was like, holler at me when you get them in because I want one.
I will literally be the first person here.
Yeah, exactly. For
How
sure.
much? So how much is the old one worth then? If
I don't know. I've seen them go for as little as 300 and as much as 500. So kind of in the 300 to 500
But
range.
this could be a chance that this homologation watch that's coming out, quote unquote,
Sure.
could escalate your value.
In theory,
That's true because
I'm
it
hoping.
sparks interest in other people. Like, oh, this is cool, and then they're like, wait, this is a reboot.
Then
And
What's
then-
the original like? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
oh shit! Now the original's worth $1,000. Who knows?
They're like, wait,
Exactly.
there's a new Hawaii 5.0. I didn't even know old Hawaii 5.0 was a thing.
I know, right?
And honestly, I probably won't ever sell that driving watch.
I wouldn't if I were you. I think
No.
that's a badass
I
watch.
had to take some links off, and I kept the old links and in a little bag.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like honestly, if worse comes to worse, if I had to liquidate my entire collection, then I probably would. But until then, I'm gonna keep on. So the clasp on the bracelet is not holding, and so I've been on photo shoots. I've been wearing it, and it's just come undone.
Is it one of the spring-loaded ones with the buttons on both sides?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Those are usually pretty bulletproof.
Yeah.
Those are the good ones. No, this is basically I think some metal has just expanded or contracted
okay.
in some sort of way, and
Over.
it won't hold.
Well, I don't have any tools anymore, but because I used to
I
actually
have a mini tool set. I have pliers.
So
I
it's
could,
like when I used to work at Nordstrom. I used to
I didn't know that.
be like their watch guy.
Oh, cool.
So like I was
Interesting.
like their
Okay.
watch technician. I mean, I wouldn't really call it that because I wasn't really replacing any major parts in watches.
No, you're
because-
swapping out batteries and removing
Bands
links.
and
yeah, and stuff like that and whatnot. But like enough to know that like I had a Jimmy rig a fix.
What's funny is the Timex I have now, that also came on a bracelet. It was also powder coated and came on a powder coated bracelet, and I bought it at Kohl's because that was the first time. At that time, I was working in a flower shop with a puppy that was there. That's very biteable. Well, not biteable, but bitey.
I was gonna say, I hope he didn't bite the puppy.
No, I didn't. I thought about it a couple times.
You know, teach you, motherfucker.
Shout out to Ray Ray.
Oh,
With
and
the-
just to, I don't know why the hell I said Nordstrom. I'm at Macy's.
Oh.
I used to work at Macy's.
Macy's here in downtown.
No, I didn't work there when I lived here in Utah.
Oh, is this Oregon?
No, Idaho.
Idaho. Gotcha.
But
Apologies,
The
the
reason
whiskey
I
was
said
talking.
the reason I said Nordstrom was because I would buy all my shit from there. And then
Oh, gotcha.
my
Okay.
managers fucking hated it.
Okay. Okay.
That's great.
So I like bought all my shit there. I'd have customers that come in, they'd be like, "Oh, where do I get that shirt?" And I'm like, "Not here.
Nordstrom's.
Better drive to Spokane. It's an hour and a half away." My
That's
manager's like,
funny.
"You gotta stop doing that." I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna tell them that they can get it here because they clearly can't."
Yeah. No,
I know.
that's a bad idea. But yeah. So I was at what did I say? Macy's? No. Yes, I said Macy's. Bought it at Macy's in the mail.
Kohl's.
Kohl's.
Coles, that's what it
Fucking
was.
same shit. Same shit.
all
different-
a bunch of department stores.
Exactly. I bought it at Kohl's, and I bought it online, and because I have 6-inch wrists, nothing fits my wrist out of the box.
Speaking
Same.
of your wrists, you've got a gnarly watch, tan
Dude,
line.
I know. That's what happens
Oh
where
my
that's what
goodness
happens when you wear the same
gracious.
size watch every day. Doesn't have to be the same watch, but they're about the same size.
Yeah, no, but I
Wow.
share your struggle with that. Like, I have small wrists too, and like I can, it's like pulling teeth.
Mine
to-
is exactly 6 inches because I measured, and B, when I got the Tissot, I put in. So when I bought the Tissot, I bought it from their website, and they ask for your wrist size,
which is unique because
which
a lot
is
of
very
people do
unique.
that. Usually they're just like, here's the watch, figure it out.
Exactly. And so when I bought the watch, I was like, well, I measured it 6 inches, so I think that's what it is. And then when I got the watch, it fit exactly perfectly.
Yeah, and
Which
for
is
those
great.
of you at home that are trying to size your own watches, like follow the arrows on the bracelets.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
Goodness gracious.
So, but when I took it into the Kohl's that's over in Sugar House, there was this older lady that was just wrestling with this watch band, with this bracelet, just trying to get the links off. It took like probably 25 or 30 minutes for her to get it all off. Yeah, and then I kept that bracelet for like maybe a month, and then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm getting a rubber band, because that'll just fit better. It does better with water. It's just more of a sport. Like it'll just take a beating more. Like it's
Yeah.
just a better.
Absolutely.
But it's not like a dive band though. It doesn't have like the ribs like a lot of dive bands do.
And what watch did you put this on?
This is the Timex.
Okay.
This is just
The daily.
Right.
This was
Okay.
the beater because at
That's
that
what I thought you were
time-
talking about, but for some reason at one point I had the thought that like you also put this on your drive watch.
No,
And I was
no,
like-
no.
Reverse that right now.
Yeah, no. I've been thinking though. I kind of want to get like a red-ish, like a maroon, like to match the LED
LCD.
LCD display. Thank you. So you know the Joe Rogan podcast. You're my Jamie, basically.
Anytime.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Anyways, yes, to match the display, I want to get because it's of the era. I kind of want to get like a reptile band.
I don't think you do.
You don't think I do? Because that's so of the period.
It is, I guess. But
It
I mean,
is, but I don't think it's aged well.
I mean, a lot of things haven't aged well that people still rock now. Have you seen Radwood?
Yes. No comment.
No comment. Okay.
Actually, if I can step in here, there is one watch that I've shown you once, but there is one watch that I actually want to show you guys because I guarantee you haven't seen it.
What is it?
You're probably right.
Also, I want to talk about a Jacob and Company watch after you show yours.
So,
Oh, that's the Urwerk, isn't it?
nope. Devon is the.
Oh, it's
is-
like Urwerk.
the fuck
Have
is
you heard of
this
Urwerk?
thing?
I have not. So,
Okay.
where I originally found this was in a magazine that I got. It's not that model, but they made a steampunk version of that exact model. So this is,
$22,500.
okay. So before you start spouting out price, let me explain.
Too late now.
So, let's see.
Oh, you think that's a lot?
No, I know, but I mean, we're talking attainable shit here now, like things that we actually own. Fuck.
Well, the only reason is that this is very different. It's called a belt watch. So instead of having either a digital display or an actual face, it
belt-driven?
has belts that turn around
Yeah.
to display the time.
Urwerk does a lot of the same kind of shit. So look at this.
Here's
okay.
here's a GIF demonstrating
I've seen
exactly.
a lot of watches
This
and
is what
stuff,
goes
but
on.
like this is some.
Okay, the reason why these are so expensive is they're handmade, every piece, including the belts, in America. It's
Right.
crazy.
What company is this?
It's called Devon, Devon.
I want to say was that the guy on Watch and Listen? He
Whoa.
might be.
Okay, yeah, I've never
Is that a
seen
younger
this
guy?
before.
I think so.
I think it's the same guy.
So it's just
He was heavily inspired by Urwerk.
yeah, and so I'm not ever even close to saying I would ever buy one or attain one or anything like that. But
If you had $1 million,
yeah, if I had $1 million, I would wear one of those every day.
every day,
I'd probably try to.
detailing.
Well, This would be, I would get back in the truck and put this back on to drive to the next job.
Okay, so you have this in a watch roll, like
Yep.
in the glove box of the truck.
Exactly. Gotcha. No, this would be, I mean, it's just super different.
Also, side note,
I've
watch
never
rolls
seen
are
this before.
fucking dope.
I mean, this is
Yes.
rad. Don't get me wrong.
It's insane.
Would I wear it? Probably not. But it's really cool. It's
So I
not
have a
really my
couple-
style, but this is rad.
Yeah.
I have a couple watches for you to look at, and maybe
Yeah,
I can put
you're
this
gonna
on
have to-
YouTube actually. So we.
That's
I
what I was
can
gonna say, is
have
like,
some
is
visual
there-
components
Should we link some of this stuff in?
for sure? Here's an Urwerk UR202 P202 Black Platinum. Okay, so it's got platinum. It's gonna be a lot of money. But it is a so there's an axis that is that has three little arms going off of the center, and it rotates, and the hour is on this axis, and then on the bottom from about the 8 o'clock that spans to about the 4 o'clock is your minutes. It is your minutes as it goes to 60. I don't think it measures seconds, but that, okay, this watch right here, 185 grand.
Let me see it.
In my opinion, total waste of money.
I mean,
I would buy
here-
that, and I would pay 185 grand for that watch before that watch, because
Right.
purely off looks.
Right.
So, and you know, all of these things are obviously subjective,
I
but it's
have,
actually,
I have one more watch after you get done with this.
this is just a really good point, though. So many people even look up to the cars that we talk about and say that same thing, or they even look up to Rolexes and say the same thing, even though Rolexes quite often aren't that.
No, they're like 20 to 40.
Exactly.
40 is like high.
Here's the thing. So, like, we can all look at that and say, oh, it's a waste of money. That's a ton of money. Why would you put that much money into wealth? But usually those things that are that expensive are because they're cutting edge and that technology trickles down. So those people that are early...
It's cutting edge, and it doesn't exist anywhere else.
Mhm. And so when those people invest that money, those are the people that drive the industries of any industry forward.
That's true. So there's a jewelry company called Jacob and Company.
Mm-hmm.
You may have heard of them. They make watches. So similar to Cartier, but on a fucking completely other
Yeah,
level.
I've heard of them.
Yes. They have a watch called an Astronomia watch.
Oh,
Okay, never heard of the watch, but I've heard.
So you know how companies like to promote that they have like their crystal is sapphire?
Yeah.
yeah.
Not just the crystal, but the entire case of this is sapphire.
Ooh.
So it's like wearing a fishbowl, like a tiny little fishbowl on your wrist. Okay.
Okay.
Not only that, it has
Really expensive fishbowl.
it had. I've talked to Justin about this watch, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It has a tourbillon in it, which is honestly a ridiculous complication that does nothing. It has various planets, actually. Some of them have planets, some of them have dragons that are all handmade, hand-painted. Some of them are not even painted. Some are made out of, like, ruby stone and, like...
Oh, I see. I thought for some reason you were about to tell me that it has like the time zone of different planets and shit. And I'm like, that's not. Get the hell out of here right now.
Not quite.
Like,
although dope, and that would more justify the price of this watch.
it's like dope, but stop smoking so much.
Yeah, right.
This is $1 million watch.
Ooh.
When you drive your Bugatti Chiron, and you're
You
wearing
have-
this watch, you are currently in possession of like $3 or $4 million.
You currently are driving a car with a watch on your wrist that is worth,
Half as much.
yeah.
So check this out. That's a fucking octopus inside inside a watch.
Okay, it literally looks like you're wearing gears with bands.
Basically,
Like-
yeah, because the movement is kind of suspended in this fishbowl of watch.
By the
I mean,
way-
but the case is sapphire though.
I think
you have to take a piece of sapphire and mill it out.
Well, think of this. Like, it looks like it's pretty ingrained in there. I would imagine servicing that watch if it ever needed any kind of service.
And it probably would after 5 or 10 years. Because
Would-
a lot of automatic watches are 5 to 10 years, or more closer to 10 years.
Yeah.
What's funny though, I don't mean this as a flex because it's not on my behalf.
It's just a flex. Go ahead.
My dad, my dad has worked his fucking ass off and has had a lot of some years out of it. He's been very successful in terms of construction in the summer and teaching ski lessons privately in the winter.
Yeah.
For a lot of high end. I'm not going to say executive, but high end clients, Greek ship owners and surgeons and things of that nature, or people of that nature. And so he's done well for himself. Especially in like the late 90s and early 2000s, and so he was able to afford a few Rolexes in his time, and so actually, honestly,
which for most people that's actually very respectable.
Yeah,
because like these other watches that we were just talking about,
and this
like
is
that's
also
like
before Rolex. In the past, like, probably 10 years, Rolexes have fucking spiked in value.
Yeah.
And he could sell his Submariner for double of what he bought it for. Easy.
Yeah, but either way, like, just the fact that he's able to have got to a point in his life to be able to obtain one of those is very respectable.
Yeah, he had, and I've given him a little bit of shit since then. Since I've learned about these watches, he used to have what was called a root beer GMT. Okay. Which is for those that don't know, with the GMT complication watches, they have their the variants of them and like the motifs. They're actually very some of them are named after soda. So there's a root beer one which was like a brown and gold bezel on the GMT. The current one is the Pepsi, which is a blue and red. There is a Coke one which is black and red. The one that's really hot right now is actually the Batman, which is not soda related, but it's blue and black.
Blue and black?
Blue and black.
Interesting.
On the bezel. This is all on the bezel. The dials are black. So like the top half, and this is all ceramic, by the way. These are ceramic bezels.
Damn.
So at the half, so if you take the bezel and cut it in half, the upper half is blue and the bottom half is black. And I'm going to riff while Jordan is going to take a leak. But anyways, so back to these watches, though. My dad sold his, I think it was a 78 root beer, and he sold it years and years ago, and that watch is spiked in value. My dad has a tendency, actually, to buy things and sell them before they were at their prime. Cars, watches, things of that nature. But yeah, currently he has a Rolex GMT Master 2 that he bought in 2010, or no, maybe it was a little later, actually, maybe like 2012. And then before that, the last watch he bought before then was in 1999. He bought a Rolex Submariner, black dial, black bezel. It was still the stainless bezel before they went ceramic. And then he has a Datejust, and he bought my mom a Datejust as an engagement ring, actually.
Oh.
It didn't even buy a ring, bought a watch instead, which I think is, honestly, I respect that way more than rings. I think that's cool, because a ring isn't usable. You can use a watch, at least for something.
I mean, that goes back to the argument of art and style, and is it actually useful and all that crap. But,
sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, also some people argue that some chronographs aren't useful. Where on my way home from Smith's today, I took the back way. I took the fun way home. I took the road that goes behind Memory Grove, and I was driving spiritedly and pulled up behind some traffic, and I took the first pull out I could take, and I set my chronograph, and I said, okay, at 30 seconds, I'm going to take off. And I was watching it. 30 seconds had gone by. There wasn't anyone behind me. Okay, I'll wait another 30 seconds. And so at a minute, I was like, okay, cool, I'll take off now.
Nice.
And so I was actually able to use my chronograph as an actual function in a day-to-day living experience. And I was thinking I might just have an unpopular watch opinion on one of the groups and say, if you genuinely don't think a chronograph is very useful, your time isn't actually that valuable.
Well, I mean, let's think about it this way. Like,
people are going to get triggered over that for sure.
A chronograph, the people that don't think it's useful, honestly, that's the truth. Because, I mean, I could pull up a stopwatch on my phone, was effectively going to do the same thing. So,
and if I am in my car,
yeah,
yes, my phone is there, but I have to go reach and grab for it, open it up, find the clock app.
Switch to the stopwatch.
Switch to stopwatch and make sure it's reset. and then hit go, put it down, and then drive away in my car.
Whereas this is
Where-
on
where-
your wrist.
Whereas with the watch, I can just go to my wrist, hit go, take off, and then when I stop or need it to stop, I can just stop it and reset it. And by the way, when it resets, I get to watch and enjoy it, and watch it reset.
Yeah. I think that's where society has went wrong with watches today, is because now they're just more so for fashion versus function.
We have so many ways.
Well, yeah,
I mean, you're not wrong.
fashion watches,
Yeah.
which is interesting actually. I was at work just today, and my boss knows I'm into watches, and she said, "Yeah, so I saw an ad for this company called MVMT." I'm like, "Oh, Movement?"
Oh, boy.
Yeah, movement.
And she was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Where did you see it?" And she said, "It was a TV ad." I'm like,
Really?
Oh, wow.
really?" Because I mean, they've had a
I mean, you
strong
see all that
social
shit
media.
all over, all over
Strong
Facebook or whatever. But
Facebook and Instagrams where they've mostly been. She's like, yeah, like, do you like them? I'm like, I mean, if I'm being honest, they take $3 Chinese Alibaba watches and put their own logo on them, and they put the rest of the money into marketing. But
Right.
I was just straight up honest with her,
yeah,
and I'm like, but if other people like them, then like that's great. I'm not gonna talk shit and say that you have a bad watch on, because the watch runs. It has a super cheap, Chinese quartz movement in it.
It's just gonna work.
It'll work. It's like the precision won't be there though.
No.
I mean, which is funny because that's something they can get away with because they don't have any fucking indexes on their watches. They just have hands.
true.
And you know roughly what time it is. It's just really more of the fashion of having
Given
a
that
watch on.
the person wearing it knows how to tell time.
Yes.
And the person wearing it, frankly, is going to look at their phone to tell the time.
It really.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like
Yeah.
nowadays watches I feel like are just fashion pieces, and then the fact that like that's, to me, I feel like that's half the reason that a lot of these are so expensive, is because they're trying to integrate all this like new materials and stuff to make people to buy them, because they're like, oh, this is this many carats
Well,
of
and
this or
people see-
whatever, and like
When people see a quote-unquote analog watch,
Yeah.
they think it's fancy because it's not a Casio, not like a digital like F91W, which is
G-Shock or whatever.
but honestly, G-Shocks are fucking tough as nails.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not. That's not a
But
dig
when-
on
when
G-Shock
people-
by any means.
When
But
people see a digital watch, they equate it to the same value as a $9 F91W, which is the cheap Walmart. If you need a watch, like go get like I was just on a family reunion actually just a few weeks ago in Michigan, and I saw my cousin from Oregon, and he was rocking an F91W. And he just like talked, like he mentioned it as just like a cheap watch. I'm like, no, there are people that actually like are enthusiasts about these watches,
yeah,
Well, and
and they're actually kind of fucking cool. And you can even buy the stainless steel version of that watch.
see, I think here's what actually happened. Going on what you said, back in the day before smartphones, effectively is the biggest thing that changed it.
Yeah,
It was the primary purpose was to tell time, and the beauty or the concourse of the watch was the novelty. Now,
right,
the time is the novelty. The beauty is practically the primary.
is in the technology.
exactly.
Which is all. The other funny thing is seeing people with Apple watches on, and
Oh, yeah.
but they put on a skin of a Rolex, like
Yeah,
like a digital skin of like a Datejust.
If I could show you Jordan's face right now.
Just all of the disappointment.
See, and there's some people that I think do that right and don't try to emulate things. I actually think the Samsung Gear watches look pretty good because they.
I do appreciate, and what was funny
So
is before I got into watches themselves, I was wearing a Suunto, which is a very tough watch, but I wanted something that was more elegant and stylish, and I was
Yeah.
looking at smartwatches because it's also something to pair with my phone, add possible practicality to it, and I was looking at one of the. Fossil actually makes
Yep.
a really awesome smartwatch.
Yeah,
That-
I have a couple fossils, and those things
You have
for the
analog
price,
watches.
especially for the
Yeah.
yes, they are analog. I don't have any digital watches actually.
Well, I was just talking about a smartwatch, which their UI was
Yeah.
very beautiful, and like their case and their bracelet all looked very elegant and something I could totally see myself rocking.
Yeah,
Not
but-
anymore though.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Fossil, I have a few analog watches of theirs, and they, for the price point especially, are rock solid. Like, I have nothing bad to say about them.
Interesting. I've never really. I've held one, Did I hold even the smartwatch? Maybe I haven't really had that much one-on-one experience with Fossil watches.
Well, you can come over and try mine on if you want or whatever.
You could bring your box over.
Yeah.
We could.
That's what I was gonna suggest.
we
Actually,
can
is
compare
like
boxes.
all of us can just like bring our watches, and then we just have another.
Maybe I'll
discussion.
have to set up a camera and we'll actually make this a visual podcast
Yeah.
for that episode.
Next Wednesday.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll make it happen. You'll bring over your
Yeah, I'll
your
bring
watches.
I don't have a watch box, but I have multiple boxes of.
And I'm at a
watches.
point actually where I have a box which has 12 slots. It's got a little drawer underneath it where I store the extra links and the spring bar tool or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
But then I also have a winder. I actually got a winder for free from somebody.
Oh, nice.
Totally works. I got the U-boat on there, and I got the Laurier on there right now actually. But,
Yeah, I think I only have 9 watches right now. Where I have like a box that holds 6, and then
Honestly-
and then I have another box that holds 2, and then another one that's like in its own
I
stationary
get paid
box.
this Friday, and then I'm also trying to slate some more just photo shoots. And I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, if I get 2 more like paid photo shoots, I'm gonna go buy my next watch.
Yeah,
And I
and I'm
already
at
know
the
what it
point where
is.
like, payday's tomorrow. How much more money do I want to put into my race motorcycle or my car?
Right, right. No, yeah, exactly.
The ever-long debate.
That's the nice thing about driving just a stock Subaru.
Yeah.
I know I'm not gonna put money in it. I can put money elsewhere. I can go buy fucking photo and video stuff or
I
whatever.
don't think there'll ever
Lucky
be a day
you.
where I'll never
It's great.
put money into
That
a car.
that is one of the novelties you have with it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it really is.
It just works. I don't have to put money into it, and I can put money elsewhere.
That's how I settled on the Toyota kind of too. Actually,
Yeah, because I mean your motor is a proven motor.
Who was with us on that photo shoot that loves driving your Forester?
Was it Riley? No.
No.
Was it Randall? No. Who was it?
which photo
I feel
shoot
like
was
it
this?
starts with
Was
a
it Andrew?
D. Yes.
Was it Andrew? Because he also used to have an older Forester.
Yes, this is him.
Yeah. Yeah, he had an, honestly, I kind of wish I bought his Forester because it was super low and slammed and crazy. But it was the loudest fucking thing on the planet.
Yes. Okay.
Because, like, on load, it would be, like, not even really loud. You could hear the engine rumble. It was a naturally aspirated. It was a first-gen Forester.
Yeah,
And it was slammed on RPF ones that had 245s on them square. He rubbed everywhere. Honestly, if I had bought the car, I would have just lifted it, just like raised it just a little bit. But he had, but exhaust work was done, and the way the engine was mapped and the way exhaust somehow works, if you were between 3,000 and 4,000 RPM and released the load and just like let off, it was just the gnarliest. It would piss off like diesel
not just
bros.
not just like one backfire, but like a 10-second constant.
Oh yeah, no.
backfire.
As soon, it was from if you were at 4,000, if he let off in third gear is when it was the gnarliest. It would just be all this overrun from 4,000. If you let off, it would let all the way down until it went below 3,000.
Oh my goodness.
It was so gnarly and aggressive, and he and I would just like drive
Was
around.
this
and-
car by chance maroon?
No, it was silver.
Okay.
It was
All right.
silver.
Because I've seen another one, a maroon one on campus before, and it was just like,
I mean,
like-
he said it was a muffler delete.
you're just
but-
pissing me off right now.
Yeah. No, he said it was a muffler delete, but I think when he sold it, when he like looked underneath it, and it was like definitely like cats were taken out. It was basically straight piped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
You're not
And,
fooling nobody.
we are supposed to be giving off 20 to 30 minute long episodes. This recording, we're gonna cut it short or cut the beginning off, but we're at 51 minutes right now, so we are gonna wrap this one up. But we talked about watches a little longer than I thought we were gonna talk about.
we
watches.
actually started just bullshitting about watches, and then it actually turned into the podcast.
Basically, yeah.
Yep.
So that's where
Yeah,
we're gonna.
so
leave
you'll
this
hear
one.
the intro like halfway through the episode.
Congratulations!
Basically, so
It's an Easter egg for all you smart-minded folks.
exactly.
Yeah.
So happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Hump Day. Hope you get your hump on.
Hump day.
Get over that hump. And
Meh.
look forward to the weekend. The weekend is almost here. I promise you.
And a Friday has another podcast.
Yeah, we got another podcast on Friday. So, yeah, if you haven't already, if you've heard of us, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know. But if you haven't already, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like and subscribe, hit that bell icon, because why would you not subscribe, or why would you subscribe and not want to know when you're notified about future episodes? That's kind of the point of subscribing to something, right?
2-step process for a 1-step thing.
Unfortunately, we live in that world now. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Exhibition of Speed Show. We don't have a Twitter yet. I might put one of you two in charge of that Twitter.
When we find need for a Twitter, we will have one.
Yes. And
Yeah, I was like, is that really necessary?
I mean, possibly. I could see ways. But
Gavin just wants to angrily tweet Trump.
Oh, I have my other avenues for that. I don't need that for that. But anyways, until Friday, until next time, I've been Gavin.
I've been Justin.
And I'm dumbass Jordan.
I'm fucking drinking Gavin. But anyways,